Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we today? Well, as you can see, the weather today is glorious. Yesterday wasn't too bad, although I must admit it turned a little bit nastier towards the late of the day. But at the moment, it is lovely and shiny. Our pussy cats are out having a little bit of a wander about. They've had their breakfast this morning. That little one who's hopping along is the lovely Sheba. Now, Sheba's got a lovely little backstory. While feeding the strays in Kallamaki, we found her down in Kallamaki. She looked like she'd been run over. And anyway, we managed to scoop her up. We got her to the vets, and the vet said, well, if she'd have been a dog, he said, I'd have put her down. But because she's a cat, you can never tell. And basically, she's made a recovery. She's happy. She gets about. She's like the old lady of the group. She's a little bit kinked. I call her Sidewinder because the way she walks. But she's a lovely girl. And when we took her to be sterilised, it turned out she'd already been sterilised. So when Spiro went into her to take the bits out, they were already gone. So bless her. We've had her now for, I've lost count how many years we've had her. But she's a good girl. And yeah, she's happy. And that's the main thing. So there you go. That is the lovely Sheba. So the weather today, as you can see, absolutely glorious. Sunshine over Kallamaki and also looking down towards Laguna as well as the crow flies. And then obviously the hills today, you can see them. Whereas the last couple of days you've not been able to see the hills because the mist has been down and it's looking absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it's gorgeous. Look at that. That lovely view. Few little wispy clouds up there, nothing ominous really, to be quite honest. I think we're in for a good day. Ground is still very wet, unfortunately, so definitely not a day for a burning today. Yeah, I'll hold that off for a bit longer. Anyway, right, what's been going on? Well, there's been a lot happening within the last 24 hours here on the island. Can I just say thank you to all the people yesterday who were getting in touch. I've got to say a quick hello to Andy Orchard. He's a paramedic and first responder in the UK. Thank you, fella. We had a really great talk yesterday on the phone. He was actually at work when I spoke to him. He was sat in his ambulance at the ambulance station waiting to transfer patients across London. And he said he'd been on shift since 7 o'clock. He said he wasn't on the roads. He wasn't out there picking up people off the street. He said there's no traffic about. That's one thing. Basically, he's just been sat around moving, waiting to be told to move patients to other hospitals. And we had a lovely chat about the situation in London. He said the roads are empty, the roads are deserted. And he's not the only other person who said that. Another friend of mine, Anthony Kelly, ex-firefighter, retired, he said the same. The streets of London completely empty, nobody about. And another friend of ours who was seeing a Harley Street specialist the other day, again, same story. Streets of London completely empty, like a zombified state, she said, going around London. So you can get around London very, very easily at the moment. Right, I better switch it around to me, hadn't I? Because you're busy looking at a lovely view. And I've just realised, guess what? I have lost my little control that tells you about labels you to switch the screens round. So don't ask me why it does that. So I'm afraid today I'm going to have to get you looking at the view. I've got to be careful about that because you might not be able to hear me very easily. Right, okay, let's look at the news then for today. And today is the day of the Epiphany here in Greece, which is a very important religious holiday. And I'm going to come on to that in just a short while. And it is also, by my estimates, day 60, but by Hillary Rogers' estimates, day 61 of the lockdown. So it's 60-61, depending on which calendar you've been running on, all right? So let's have a look at the last 24 hours of the COVID infections here in Greece. Anyway, yesterday we had 928 new infections recorded across the country, which is up on the day before, bringing the total number of infections since it all started to 141,453, of which 52.3% are male. Now, there's been no new cases on Zakynthos, so that is good news, all right? Also, as well, as regards deaths, there's been 40 deaths, which is down across the country. Total fatalities now is 5,051. The average age of those people affected was 79 years of age, and most of them had, or 95% of them had underlying health problems. And the gender of the fatalities, 2,999 are male, and 2,052 were female. And again, we send our condolences to families that are affected at this time. Now, also, critical cases in hospital, they are also down today to 405. 270 males, 135 females. The average age of critical patients is about 68. 83.5%, so that's gone up a little bit, have underlying health issues or are over the age of 70. So at least the figures are going down. And don't forget, with the infection rate, they may be a false positive. That's one thing to look at. Or they may be asymptomatic. The figures we should be looking at are deaths and incubation, all right? So anyway, Greek Prime Minister, this was this morning, this was Stop Press News this morning. The Greek Prime Minister, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, has announced that the programme of vaccinations is going well, with a target in the initial stages of 5,000 inoculations a day now being exceeded. He also added that the vaccination of the general population will begin on January the 20th, starting with the most vulnerable groups. So at the moment, they're vaccinating people that are in position of power. If you might remember last week, there was this big thing about vaccination selfies and that all being banned. And they stopped the vaccinations for a while because the unions were complaining that health workers and key workers were not getting the vaccination. It's interesting that there's suddenly been a massive turnaround, but we'll keep our eye on that. Where at the moment we haven't got any vaccinations happening here at the moment on the island. We're still waiting for the arrival of the vaccination here as well. And I think we might even be being looked at the moment as a low risk area. And if we are a low risk area, let us get out of lockdown. I have a horrible feeling that the lockdown is again sneakily being extended. And who's to say it might not go on longer? And in that light, the Chancellor, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, has announced an extension to their country's lockdown until January the 31st, including stricter measures at 21,237 new cases recorded yesterday, with a further 1,909 deaths. That's the reason why they're extending their lockdown as well. Also being extended in lockdown at the moment here in Greece. Yesterday, the municipality of Elthratos Trepes, which is in the region of Botea, that's up in the northern part of the country, they've been ordered into a hard lockdown from today due to a surge in new infections since late December. Right, just quickly going back to the Feast of the Epiphany today. The Holy Synod of the Greek Orthodox Church had complained to the government regarding the rules that churches will not be allowed to open for the Epiphany, and had stated that they would ignore the directive from the government. However, the Greek government responded, saying no one can decide to observe only laws they like, and the closures will be enforced. Well, an agreement last night was breached, and last night it was announced that the Greek Church would comply to the measures imposed by the government. Now, the first Archbishop sent a letter to the metropolitans, that means to the other archbishops around the country, asking them to strictly observe the measures. And the Archbishop also reported earlier in newsit.gr that they decided they wouldn't sanctify the waters as they had planned around the coastal parts of Athens. And he's also told the other churches not to do the sanctification of the waters, which normally takes place outside, and people dive into the waters and they all try and reach a cross, which the Archbishop sort of puts out into the water for them to try and reach and grab hold of. But that will all not go ahead. And it's estimated that the government decision not to mount strict surveillances outside churches, the Greek church then decided that they would take a step back. And the Archbishop seems not to change his decision, but tries to show that everything will be done in strict compliance to the lockdown rules. There was talk that they were going to basically put police outside churches to watch the people going to church as a kind of, I'm not sure what the best way to describe it, just to see who was moving about. But it had ominous overtones, to be quite honestly, putting police outside churches and stopping people going to worship. Now, interestingly, on Sunday, there was a story on Greece. A priest at the holy monastery Avagia Prephasia, I think that's pronounced, near the city of Larsia. He was arrested for holding a church service. Dozens of worshippers were there, contravening the existing measures that were in place. And the priest was actually remanded in custody. He was fined €1,500 and also given a 3-month prison sentence as well. And also around 40 worshippers were also fined as well at that church in that region. So the region of Larsia has recorded the 3rd highest infection rate in the country, and since the beginning of the second wave of the pandemic in Greece. So therefore, the church is at loggerheads with the authorities here as well. Now, another story. This is really a stop press story, literally hot off the presses this morning. Local story here in Zakynthos, and also if anybody might have been on the ferry yesterday, you might have seen something, you never know. But the police authorities here in Zakynthos are on alert as a 13-year-old. Now, they describe her as a foreign girl. That means that the person is not Greek. They could be Albanian, they could be a gypsy, or they could be an international person, all right? Anyway, this 13-year-old girl, she got on the ferry in Zakynthos to Kyllini, and then she went missing yesterday afternoon from somewhere near the mainland port. Now, at the moment, cooperation is going on with the Port Authority and also with the police in Kyllini, trying to trace this girl and investigate her reasons. One for why she was left alone, and one why she was travelling, a 13-year-old, on the ferry to the mainland. Anyway, Zakynthos police have got some audio-visual material in being able to clarify the girl and the fact that she was on the ferry. Now, it doesn't say whether she got off the ferry in Kyllini, but anyway, the police are now investigating the disappearance of this girl, and we pray to God that she hasn't been groomed or something like that, and there is a simple explanation for her going missing. So once again, to the parents of that girl, I hope that she is found soon and it doesn't take an ominous turn for the worst. Right, also as well, the police are still hot at the moment, doing their intensive controls on the Ionian Islands with special teams from the various police departments doing their checks. And since Monday, there's been confirmed violations. Zakynthos confirmed, believe it or not, we had 4 violations. Corfu had 18, Macardo had 4, Kefalonia had 1 for breaking travel restrictions. That is basically breaking either the rules of not booking out correctly or breaking the curfew at night, because we are still in curfew from 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock. Sorry, it's from 9 o'clock at night till 5 o'clock in the morning. At the moment, we're still under a curfew at night. Anyway, in the same period, checks were also carried out for not wearing masks, and violations in Zakynthos was 4. Corfu had, no, we had one violation in Zakynthos, sorry. We had 4 in Corfu, 3 in Kefalonia, 1 in Lefkada for not wearing masks, and all those people were fined at €300, all right, as well as those who were out and about when they shouldn't have been. They were also fined €300. And also, just a reminder, it seems Corfu police are really hot on this one. Corfu arrested 9 people for violations of overcrowding in private cars. Just remember, you're not allowed to have more than 2 adults in a car, all right, when you're traveling about. If you've got children, yes, you're allowed children in your car, but no more than 2 adults. And if you're caught with more than 2 adults in the car, you can also be fined as well. The fine was 150. It seems to have gone up to €300 now per person for being in a car. So just bear that in mind if you're driving about, all right? Now, interestingly, I've got some kind of good news for you, some positive news. I was getting messages yesterday about people worrying about visas, about coming to Greece and what's going to happen now that we have technically left the EU. Well, yesterday, the Hermes newspaper ran an article where they basically were talking to owners of travel agencies. Now, for those people who don't quite understand what a travel agency is in Greece, if you are a holiday company and you have a brand, you have to have a travel agent who basically looks after your interests and helps you run your business while in Greece. Being a bit of a skeptic, I look at it upon as they are kind of the party that oversees what tourism is doing, kind of keeps an eye on how much money that they're making, and basically is the link between the government, tourism, and obviously the tour companies, all right? But anyway, this article, which was published yesterday, was about the feelings in regards to local tourists, transactions between the UK and the European Union, now that Brexit has arrived, and waiting to see how 2021 is going to be in the way of trade and economic dealings that are coming. Now, the tour operators in Zakynthos who were asked about the effect of Brexit on tourism have expressed their confidence that things will not change significantly and British visitors will be able to come to Greece and Zakynthos for their holidays without any problems. Now, one of the travel agents that was interviewed was Mr. Giannis Philippopolitis, who is Jane's boss. He owns Fidelity Travel. He said, and he deals mainly with British tourists, and he has a load of other brands as well. That is also where Jet2 has its agent in place. And Thomas Cook used to be there as well before Thomas Cook went under. Anyway, he said, as we know, for a long time, the United Kingdom does not belong to the European Union, and there was an agreement not to change anything, so time passed without consequences. On December 24th, he says, there was a trade and cooperation agreement with the EU, which means that an agreement will eventually be reached between the two parties. What we feared, this is him saying again, was that with the no-deal Brexit, what we feared was that with a no-deal Brexit, that they agreed that we should see it to all the other issues. This is obviously a Greek translation. In fact, he says, nothing will change in tourism. I do not know how much the pound will be affected, but it is a strong currency and the exchange rate will not change much. We will know more from March the 1st because the 2 months of January and February will decide a lot for further agreements. He added, there are still many things to be clarified, but it is given that the Brexit development will have good results as this agreement will not have much impact on tourism. So again, very positive outlook on that. He also says from a little to no will affects him, British visitors will obviously have a tourist visa. And at the moment, there's been no details about the fine print for tourist visas. People did phone me yesterday asking about those. And at the moment, I couldn't answer any questions because at the moment, we just don't know what will happen in regards of tourist visas. Anyway, what will happen to the permanent residents here on the island, he says, is in the process, but I do not think anything will change. So if you're already a resident here on the island, we're still waiting for a change of our cards, that we have a residency card to the biometric card. And at the moment, I think the rest of Greece is also changing to a biometric card as well. And I think common sense tells you that they will worry about their own first, getting biometric cards. As long as you have your residency card and your residency permit, at some point they will then start to change those for the biometric cards. But that is a completely separate issue. But at the moment, the holiday companies are saying at the moment that we don't feel that's going to be much of an issue at the moment. Now, also another agent was interviewed, Manos Belidis. He also was among those who confirmed things with the deals with the British market, and also confirmed that messages for tourism after Brexit are positive, and there will be some difficulties in the implementation of Brexit in the beginning because every new situation creates some issues. However, he says, I do not think the agreement reached between United Kingdom and the European Union will be a big problem, he says. Equally, the world will travel normally if there is an issue, and it is about how the exchange rate difference between the pound and the euro will fluctuate. If the pound holds up, we will be a good destination for the English. If we have a price difference, i.e. the pound weakens, it may have an effect on the purchasing power of those people that come. Anyway, so he also said that the start of vaccinations in Europe and elsewhere has already brought a wave of optimism about. He says tourism will go in 2021. Of course, it is still too early to make substantial estimates as to the bookings have not started. Also, Mr. Philippopolitis from Fidelity, he also stressed that everything is frozen. However, he stressed that the climate is optimistic, and at the moment there are no reservations. Everything is frozen. Any bookings available are from those who carry bookings. There is moderate optimism because vaccinations are also running very fast in Britain. Many have already been vaccinated. This theoretically means that no one will be afraid to close the holidays, and will respectively in Greece, where we will be vaccinated until April, it will bring a balance. So what they're saying is that people shouldn't be afraid to come on holiday. Everybody here should be vaccinated by then. People in the UK will have been vaccinated by then. Should be no issue about people not wanting to travel because they feel it's not safe. He also noted that we will go to the last minute market, since in March or April he may not clarify things regarding vaccinations because there is always a problem of global recession because this pandemic has got the back of us. Many have lost their jobs and live on little or no money. They are given that, and this has given us a big blow. Logically, 3 to 4 months we will not deal so much, except the issue of finances and who will make a better campaign to attract tourists from other countries is Greece. So what he's saying there is that at the back of their minds, they're also thinking as well, people aren't really too worried about holidays at the moment. People may have lost their jobs. People may be resorting their finances. One thing I would say, and this is not really the travel agents' issue, is that the holiday companies who do bring the people, that the pricing at the moment is sensible pricing. But I've got to be honest, yesterday Jane and I were going through holidays online for companies, and we were quite shocked at what low prices there are for holidays at the moment. So Jane was on the phone to EasyJet yesterday, but that's a whole different story. But anyway, start checking EasyJet holidays. There's some very, very low prices there for people coming to the island. And even if you book it at least you know you've got it at that price. And just wait and see how things will transpire further down into the year. But anyway, on the whole, for the summer, it is looking positive, and I'm really quite chuffed about that as well. And also for the other nations like the Czech Republic, Poland, and the Netherlands, again, things are looking positive from their markets as well, according to the man from Fidelity. So anyway, we will keep an eye on that. And also, and finally, Story, the annual report on the Greek weather was out yesterday, and I do love that the Brits love to know what the weather is like. And according to the annual report by the National Observatory of Athens, the islands with the highest temperature in the summer was Crete, and the islands with the lowest, place with the lowest temperature, where is it? I've lost that now. The lowest temperature was somewhere up north. It was -14. But also for the most wettest location in Greece of 2020 was also Crete as well. They had terrible flooding, terrible weather, water and everything else. And Zakynthos didn't appear as too hot or too cold. However, we did have the Medicane as well, which caused some problems. But in relation to the weather of the rest of the country, we were good. We were okay. But over in Heraklion, in Crete, you were the wettest and also the hottest throughout the summer. So what a comparison there. Right, okay, let's have a quick look at some of the people that are chatting in at the moment. Nice to see you here. Andrew the Fridge Watkins is watching. Old Boothie is watching as well. I haven't had a chance to look at that thing you sent me a few minutes ago. All right, I will have a look at that when I finish the podcast. Christine Brown is also watching. Hilary Rogers is watching as well. Nice to have you here, Hilary. I better give you guys all a wave back, hadn't I? I can hear a cat singing down the front there as well. Steve Hinklin in Stoke-on-Trent is watching as well. I'm not sure if Steve is back at work at the moment as a teaching assistant or that. I hear that some of the schools are working for essential workers at the moment. Andrew the Fridge Watkins is saying, good morning, Ginge, from a lovely, crisp, cold, bright morning. Oh, I like those crispy, cold, bright mornings. I really do. Amanda Greggy from up the hill is also saying, good morning. Diane Kemp is watching as well. Mark Billingham, the old mate, Raffridge Buddy, is watching as well. The Poacher, that's what he had on his passport for many years. Nice to see you here, Bill. Brett Weston is also watching as well. Vicky Wood is watching as well. Nice to have you here. Amanda Gregory says, lovely view of the mountains today. Not cold, just sunshine. Have a good day. Yeah, you're right. It's a day for washing. All right, get your washing on, all right? Maureen Leverton is watching as well. Susie Angus, one of the entertainers here on the island, is also watching. Nice to have you looking in, Susie. Alan Woodhouse is also tuning in as well. Nice to see you here. Elaine Finnegan is watching. Also, Christine Coldwell is watching as well. Nice to have you tuning in, Christy. I hope the weather in Leighton Buzzard is also good as well. And I'm not sure if you're working today. I'll try and give you a call as well, my lovely. All right, so you take care. Also as well, Lyndon is watching as well. Nice to have you tuning in, Lyndon, from Wales. Also, Dave Coldwell from the United States is tuning in as well. He's an ex-military man. Nice to have you tuning in as well, sir. I'm not sure if he's a family relation, but he's a Coldwell from America. Bob Monroe is also watching. Nice to see you here, Raffridge Buddy. Annie Spencer, Raffridge Buddy. Nice to see you here, sir, as well. Jamie Brown is also tuning in. Nice to see you here, Jamie. Maureen Elves is also tuning in. She's from round the back. I hope everything's good with you and Mike. Also, Alan Short is watching as well. Nice to have you here. Chris O'Gorman, Raffridge Buddy, nice to see you. Paula Charterton is also tuning in. Alex Dippas is also nice to see you here, Alex, as well. Nice to have some Greeky people looking in. James Buchanan is also tuning in. Paula Carterton says, we're on lockdown, if you can call it that. But still no testing of people flying into the UK. Ridiculous, really. Everyone else has been doing it for months, but not us at all. To be honest, Paula, I wasn't aware of that. I do know here You've got to have a test before you're allowed to fly away. You're tested actually at the airport, and I know we test on arrival as well. But again, interesting. I wasn't aware of that, and I will also have a look at that as well. All right. Matt Pickard is also watching as well. Nice to see you here. James Hughes is watching as well. Steve Hodgson from Concert up there in the north east. The fire station. How you doing, buddy? Nice to have you tuning in as well. Martin Taylor is also tuning in from Australia. G'day, g'day, g'day. We get quite a lot of Australians, I've got to be honest, who tune in, which is really nice. Nice to have you. I think Martin Taylor might also be Rap Reg or ex-Rap Reg, but nice for you to tune in as well. Mark Groves is tuning in. Nice to see you here, ex-Rap Reg. John Stowell is also tuning in as well. Martin Taylor is pouring coffee at the moment with the dog Brian. That's an emoji, by the way. Areta Plessa is also watching as well. Nice to see you here, my lovely. Caroline Heath is watching. Dennis Maku is watching as well. Alan Lomax is watching. Nice to see you as well, Alan. Mike Galtry, just around the corner. He's also tuning in as well. Lovely to see you here, sir, as well. He's a diver. You need to get any talk about diving, have a chat with that man, all right? Ian Harvey is also watching. Raf Reg Buddy. Tracy Jones is watching. Delia Gussetti, who is Dennis's daughter. She's also tuning in as well. Nice to see you. Barry Leatherdale, not heard from Barry in ages, from Essex, is also tuning in as well. Nice to see you here. Amanda Gregory says, haven't planes been grounded in the UK? Do you know what, Amanda? I don't know. I don't know if planes have been grounded in the UK. That could be the reason why they're not doing any tests. But I'll have a look at that. I've not heard anything, to be honest, on that. But I seem to concentrate more on what's happening in Greece than the UK from time to time. Anyway, Margaret Carr is watching as well. Ian Foster is watching too. Heather Nash says, morning, mates, from Heather and Gary from very cold Birmingham. Nice to have you here as well, Heather and Gary. Pam Stott is also watching. Michael Wood is watching. And that's it. Oh, my God. Quite a lot of listeners. Right. Something strange happened yesterday. I was out and about chatting to some local people about what's been going on. And I got a phone call from the lovely Kostas Efopoulos from Zanti's Dilemma. And Costa phoned me up in a kind of a bit of a panic. He said, Ginge, I'm doing a song. It's originally a Greek song. We're redoing it in English, and I'm having some problems with lyrics. I need you to come up with some lyrics, just a few lyrics for a refrain in the song. And so I said, all right then, let me have a quick listen to the song. I had a little bit of a listen, and I was given a first line, and then asked, can you do another few lines from that first line, because we're having difficulty trying to put something there. So guess what? I wrote some lines. We wrote 2 sets of lines, and then they agreed on the set of lines. And I got a message this morning saying, your word roaming has saved the song. So I'm really chuffed about that. Now, this afternoon, as you're probably aware, it's a Wednesday. It'll be my second broadcast of 2021. And that'll be going out at 3 o'clock UK time, 5 o'clock Greek time, because of the time difference. And I'm hoping that I might premiere this new record by Zanti's Dilemma during the show. I know at the moment they've been working on it all through the night. I got a message this morning to say hopefully it should be finished and they will pass it to me complete, ready for to be heard by the public. So again, an exclusive this afternoon on my show, new single from Zanti's Dilemma, and I'm looking forward to hearing it. I'm really looking. I have not heard the whole song yet, so I'm hoping that some of my lines are now in it. But I have been told definitely there are some of your work is in it. So I'm really looking forward to actually listening to that song. So anyway, come and join me this afternoon. 3 o'clock UK time, 5 o'clock Greek time. If you any requests, dedications, just stick them below the comments, and I shall look forward to seeing you later. Anyway, that's it from me. Quick shout out to Amanda Gregory. True travel companies cancel flights during their lockdown. Many companies travel flights during their lockdown. I don't know about that, Amanda, but I shall check on that. But at the moment, EasyJet definitely still got flights coming Wizz Air have definitely got flights coming, and those flights at the moment are absolutely peanuts in cost. So please, if you want to come here in the summer, start booking, start showing that there's interest, there is demand, and yeah, maybe they won't cancel any flights for the summer, and we can kind of get back to normal. But anyway, we'll keep our ears to the ground. We've still got a bit of time yet before the season is about to start. Oh, that's the neighbour's kids scooting about, by the way. So once again, I'll keep my eyes on that for you as well. Anyway, Sally Gunn is also tuning in. Nice to have you with us, Sally. Right, that's it from me. I'm going to have to go. Got things to do. And you take care. Have a great day. And look at the lovely weather we're having at the moment. Isn't it gorgeous? I will see you later. Ta-ra.